Welcome back. If you haven't seen my channel before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man, and here we are with another episode of White Literature Wednesday. And today, by special request from the Pennsylvania grain farmer, we are going to look at literature for the 288 and 110 tractors. To start with, we'll look at the introductory pieces for both of these. Two different styles of picture taking, I suppose. We've got a field scene in this one with the 288, showing it pulling a 5100 planter, announcing a new 86 horsepower performer with a new, more comfortable cab. And on these tractors, the cab became different than like on the earlier 2105 because the cab is totally isolated. And the fuel tank no longer extends under the dash like it did on the 55 series tractors and like the 2105 and 285 and all those. So now the cab is totally isolated, which cuts down on vibration and dust and everything. So they highlighted that in here, of course, to reduce noise and vibration. So the dash and steering column are an integral part of the cab. 110. You can see it is what I would call a glamour shot, where they put the tractor on a neutral background and took a photogenic picture of it, announcing an improved middleweight with a new, more comfortable cab. Again, they hyped up the cab because that was the important feature. Both of them using the 354 Perkins. This was the later variant of that, and anyway, the same type of deal like the 285 and the 2105, non-turbo and turbo. And both pieces highlight sort of the same features, the controls and how comfortable it is, improved braking and engine, and of course the over-under transmission, which if you've driven one and you know as well as I do that is a excellent feature. It really makes things handy when you're working in the field to have at least 3 speeds on the go shifting. We'll look at the back. Of course, just a list of specifications here for the 288, telling everything about them. And look at the one for the 110, same type of thing. Of course, on the 288 it says naturally aspirated. On the 110 it's got a check mark by 6-cylinder turbocharged diesel, so they wanted to highlight turbocharging, and I would say that's why they used a check mark instead of just like typing out the word yes, because that kind of draws your eye to, hey, something's different there. So turbocharged engine. So that is the basic look at the introductory pieces, and now we will look at the later full color ones, and I have 3 different versions, and I'll show those to you now. So as stated, I have 3 variations of this, but really in what I found, there's 2 basic variations that you'll find, and obviously different cover picture. Here we have the tractor pulling a fold-up planter, and here we have both tractors in a field shot, kind of a photo op shot, I guess, of both of them. And we'll start with this one. I have 2 variations of it, and the cover is identical, looks the same. When you flip them over, they look identical, but they do have different form numbers. This one is P271, and it looks like they made 40,000 copies, and it was in 1982. This one is form number FP279. They made 15,000 copies, and this one was in 84. So if you look at them side by side, we'll page through them real quick. The front, like I said, picture's the same. Talks about the quiet, well-organized cab, the engine, the 3-speed, just like the introductory piece. As you turn the pages, these 2 pages appear to be totally identical. Like I said, I haven't read every single piece. I did notice on these 2 pages, it is different in what they printed here in the little asterisk section. On this older one, the asterisk is after the horsepower, so 288, 86 horsepower, 110, 107 horsepower, and it says manufacturer's estimated PTO horsepower. So that must have been this piece was before the tractors were tested at Nebraska, because this other one, they changed the asterisk to say it's the official PTO horsepower. And I think that is the only difference on these 2 pages that I have noticed. Otherwise, the pictures are the same. It shows the tractors in the field again really nicely. There's differences, which I'll point out, between the later brochure here in a minute, because they made some changes on the actual tractors in that time. But we got the 2 tractors here. We've got a picture highlighting the front frame, because the front cast iron frame was a pretty noteworthy feature on the Olivers and Whites. And it definitely had its advantages of distributing the weight and giving something solid to mount stuff to, like loaders and the front axle. A lot of other manufacturers didn't have something like that, and some even had trouble with frame twisting and things like that. Then we have a picture talking about the versatility, and it's got the tractor pulling a load of square bales. And then we've got 2 pictures highlighting all the lighting at night and how it really makes it good for field and road both. As we turn the page to these 2 pages, I can't find any differences in the 2, but like I said, you look at stuff long enough and you can overlook things. So if you notice any, point something out in the comments. But they basically hype up the field speeds, and again, talking about the over-under, the improved engine, the hydraulics, and we've got pictures that highlight all of the text sections, you know, engine, the shift lever for the over-under where it's easy to get to, hydraulic couplers, a chart of field speeds. But otherwise, I believe these 2 pages are completely identical. I can't find any differences unless I'm overlooking something that's staring me in the face, but I think they're totally identical. Next 2 pages, nobody builds a better cab. Again, we're highlighting the new cab because it's isolated. And we'll just take them one at a time. Here we have a picture of the tractor staring at the, looks like a plowed field. And then a picture of the inside of the cab. Heating, air conditioning, easy to get into. This one's highlighting the visibility of being able to see the 3-point hitch without straining. Talking about the nice dash and instrumentation. And if we look at them one at a time, page by page, again, I don't see any difference in these pages. I might be missing something, but I do not see any difference. But there are differences between these and the other piece, and I'll show you that again in a minute, like I said. So basically, as far as I know, these 2 pages are also identical. Now we turn to the next 2 pages. Let's just look at them side by side here. Service is simple. Options add versatility. And these 8 pictures are the same as these as far as I have noticed, but they are not the same as in the later piece, so we'll look at that in a minute. Talking about maintenance and how simple it is. The other half, talking about the different performance options you could have, power adjust wheels, duals, rear wheel weights, front frame weights, 96-inch axles, additional hydraulic valves, category 3, 3-point hitch, wide swinging drawbar, 4-post ROPS, front end loader, and then picture highlighting the powered front axle. And all of that looks to be totally identical. I haven't found any differences in that. We'll turn the page again. Specifications page, and the only difference I have noticed again is in the chart up here that tells the horsepower. We have 107, 86. Over here we have 110 and 86. So different than, you know, the earlier one. Like we saw earlier, it said official PTO horsepower. That was after the tractor was tested. This last page, talking about tire sizes, dimensions, the gallons of the fuel tank and different things hold, cooling system, crankcase, etc. And I haven't noticed anything there in the charts. I do notice that, again, they changed the asterisks, I guess is how you would say that. Asterisks, I don't know. But anyway, in the older piece, we have 3 asterisks down here that says with 3-point hitch and 3x6 over under transmission, and that is pointing to the ground clearance with the front axle so that you don't confuse it with the front wheel assist. And then it also has a note that says manufacturer reserves the right to change and or design and or specifications have the right to obligation, blah blah blah. Over here's one asterisk that says manufacturer's estimated PTO horsepower. We talked about that. Field installed only shows different types of radios. But on this one, the newer one, we have the same. Let's go back over here. Field installed only for the radios with 2. That's fine. Because over here we have 1, and it goes with the PTO horsepower and says official test. So this set of asterisk notes, I guess, goes with this chart. And we have the first one. The 1 goes with the turning radius without brakes, 215 inches, and it says without brakes, power front axle disengaged. 2, 155 inches, says with brakes and power front axle engaged at 68-inch treads. 3 goes with ground clearance front axle with 18-438 rear tires, and then 4 goes with this one here, shipping weight, with 3-point hitch and 3x6 over under transmission. So this list of stuff goes only with this page, and these things go with the stuff on this page, and that is a difference between these two. Otherwise, a lot of the specs, I believe, are the same other than the horsepower, which they switched to official test on this one, and you know, they couldn't brag about that at this time yet because they hadn't done it. And then we're back to the back page, and like we said earlier, it's pretty well identical other than the part number and the number of copies printed. Now, between this style cover and this style, there are several differences. And at first you would wonder, why is this? And there's several reasons, and you can see it right away on the front cover. In the production of these tractors, they started out with a really shiny chrome grille, and the roof of the cab started out as metal, and your warning lights were off to the side. And also you can see there was a pre-cleaner sticking out above the hood. Later on in production, they switched to a non-shiny grille, like more of a just, I don't know what you'd call that, matte finish grille. And then they also changed the cab roof to plastic, and the lights are in the cab roof. So that is one way to tell a basic overview of how old your tractor might be if you have one of these, by the style of roof and the type of grille that are on it. And again, by the absence of the pre-cleaner sticking out above the hood on the later one. Of course, by now, you know, I guess grille housings could have been changed and stuff, because I think the chrome ones were prone to cracking and breaking off, because I think that was just a shell that fit over there. But anyway, that is the reason that they printed a new piece of literature, so that the tractors looked like what you would actually buy. So again, the front cover, 2 different styles of pictures. And then this one is hyping up the quiet and efficient everything, like we talked about. This one says these tractors pair muscle and fuel economy. They pay their way in the feedlot or in the field. Now, as we go through these two, almost every page is different. This one, we have a different picture. Again, because you can very obviously tell in this one that these tractors have shiny chrome grills. This one does not, and the difference in the cab roof with the lighting. So they took a different picture for that. The text here is largely the same stuff, but it's been reorganized in different ways. The first paragraph is very similar, but then they jump to talking about engine features instead of comfort. And this one, engine features was second, but it was a much smaller paragraph. And, you know, work-saving features over here versus working features, but a lot of the same type of stuff. Both of these, since this is the later one of this, says official PTO horsepower. So you know, that makes sense because this one's even lighter than this one. But that's why they took two different pictures, so that you would not see the dull grill and the plastic cab roof when you got your tractor and then say, hey, how come it doesn't look like the literature where it's shiny? Well, that's why. Go to the next two pages. This picture's the same, cast iron front frame, same. They took a different picture hauling the bales again, because you would be able to tell that the cab roof and the grill are different. So over here we have it pulling a round bale on a wagon. This one, they had to change pictures because it's talking about the lighting, and the lighting's in different places. So they changed this picture, and then they also swapped this picture out. Instead of talking about lighting, now it's talking about hardened rear axles and the tread width that you can adjust. And they changed the caption. Kind of, I guess the first half of this caption is what this caption is: a full complement of field and road lights make working or traveling after dark easier and safer. But of course they eliminated the part that says, note how the warning lights on the cab fold back to clear tree branches and other obstructions, because on this style cab the lights are in the roof, so they're not sticking out. You really didn't have to worry about tree obstructions. But I know guys who could destroy these, so you know, maybe they did need to hype up on that, but it is possible. Now we'll go to the next page. Again, two different pictures, because you can definitely see the shininess of the grill in this one, and it's not so much in here. And the cab roof, you can clearly see the differences on those. Again, the text is kind of the same information, but it's just been reorganized in different ways. A longer paragraph talking about how it's the best in its class and different things like that. Talking about the over and under second, and that's what it talked about here, kind of after the little short introductory paragraph. This older one talked about the improved engines, and in this one they kind of incorporated that into the first paragraph. And then the last one is closed center hydraulics. Pretty well the same stuff. Like I said, just reworded a little and moved around in different places. But you see in this one, they put a 2 asterisk thing here and says that it is the official test fuel economy rating up here, where it says 16.77 horsepower hours per gallon at rated speed. So they wanted to hype up on that, because even back then, fuel economy was the big thing to worry about. So we highlight fuel economy instead of the working speeds. So that's a difference. Look at the next two pages. Again, some differences. The motor picture, pretty well the same. They reworded the caption a little bit and hyped up the fuel efficiency, 16.77 horsepower hours per gallon. The over-under lever picture the same. Caption looks the same. Hydraulic couplers, same picture. Here at the bottom, we had to change pictures again so you could see the different style grill and cab roof, and then basically the same type of chart telling the travel speeds. And the caption appears to be exactly the same. Now we will turn to the next page. Again, very glaring differences. The older one here, the tractor was looking at the plowed field. In the newer one, it's looking at a nice green field of probably like alfalfa or something. And the sidebar is pretty well identical. We don't believe that there's a better cab offered today than the new modular cab in the 288 to 110 Field Boss tractors, because White Farmers combine incredible quiet comfort, convenient controls, full instrumentation, exceptional operator vision. Then it talks about how the cab is modular and it keeps down on noise and vibration. Talks about the operator's seat and the telescoping steering, the noise levels less than 80 decibels, cab is pressurized, air conditioning, different choices of radios. Every component is the same. I think these are both identical text. The bottom picture is the same. Try to get them. It's like playing the shuffle game and forget which one you have where, but same picture, same text, same picture, same text, talking about heating and air conditioning. This cluster over here, same type of stuff, dash, all that's the same. Here though at top, we got differences again. the entry and exit, they changed from a guy getting in outside next to a road, it looks like, to probably the guy getting out of this same tractor at the same time of the green field. So we've got that. This picture's the same, front and side vision exceptional. So you can tell the major differences are on the pictures on these two. So I guess I should keep them in the right order. Older, newer. Now you look at these two pages, and first you think, you know, it's pretty close. They just switched a few pictures, but no, they had to do a lot of changing here because of the style of grill and the cab roof. So this text looks to be the same, caption's the same. Here we have the air filter. On this one you can obviously see it's the older style roof because of the warning light. Here they took a picture where you can see the back with the two warning lights in their cab roof. Engine side panel, same way. You can see the grill. So they took a different picture and didn't just art department it or chop it off. They took a different picture. Same deal with the fuel picture. They changed that. The air cleaner picture, they took two different pictures. You can tell that the background's a little different. These two pictures are the same. Battery picture's the same, and the oil picture. So the bottom four are the same, the top four are different. Then when we go over here to the last page, performance options, pretty well the same stuff. Power front axle. In this one we changed the text to task-oriented power front axle. And the text is a little different, same type of information, but again, they took two different pictures because you can see the grill and the cab roof. So that's the basic differences between the two. Again, like I said, is because of the pictures. And the specifications should be on these two pretty well identical because they've already changed the information, like from that earlier one to official test and all that. It does say down here they added back in manufacturer reserves to change the right to change design and or specifications without notice or obligation. All information valid at publication date. And they kind of did away with that on this one, but it was in the older one as one of the little side things. So that's in there. And then the back picture is of course different. This one we went away from this write-up about the heritage, and then we went to a picture of the tractor where you can see the cab roof clearly, the grill, the missing pre-cleaner, and a guy throwing straw to some dairy cows. So, and then talking about service to keep you going and hyping up the parts. And this one is FP288, if I didn't say that. And it looks like they printed 40,000 copies in 1984, which is interesting to note because this one is also from 1984, so that's probably why there's only 15,000 copies of this one, because they changed it in 1984, and so that's what we have. So these are the three I have. There is possibly more, you know, who knows. I'm always amazed at the ones we find out there. Every time I get some in, I look and compare, and then I find, oh, hey, there's one that looks the same, but it's different. But two basic styles here of cover, but the information is different a little bit, and the big reason was because of the grill and the cab roof, so they printed a newer piece so that it matched the tractors that were selling at the time. So I hope you enjoyed looking at these, even just a little bit, and if you did, go ahead and give it the thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel because we'll look at all kinds of Oliver and White themed stuff, I hope. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.